Welcome back, you guys, and for purposes of this video, let's just pretend you are the GM of an NBA team and you have to pick one of these players to start a team. You have to pick either Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Kristaps Porzingis, or Giannis Antetokounmpo to build around. I think this is a good group of young players to choose from, and you can't really go wrong with any of these guys if you build the right team around them. It just depends on your personal preference of play style and how you want to build your team. Make sure to get into the comment box and give your reasoning on why this player is the best to build around for the next 10 to 15 years, and which type of supporting role players would you like to surround them with. It should be interesting to see how this video ages in a few months to a few years. Our opinions of these players are going to change. When you finish going through the 4 players, let me know if you agree with my pick for who I want to build around at the end, and always subscribe if you have not subscribed yet to keep up with the NBA videos I will be dropping throughout the year. And let's go into the first player. First on the list, we have Joel Embiid, and if you could guarantee his health for me for multiple seasons, without question I would take Embiid out of everyone on here, because not only are you getting a guy who is going to be one of the 2 or 3 best rim defenders in the NBA, you're also getting somebody who can put up 25 points, grab 12 rebounds on really efficient shooting. He's already averaging close to 23 points per game this year in just 29 minutes. He has decent handle, great footwork in the post, not to mention he can face up and shoot a mid-range jumper. Joel's three-point shot has slumped this year. I think it's around like 26 or 27%. He has shown he can make it in the past though, so you need to get out there and contest the shot. It's still crazy to me that this guy can defend the rim like Rudy Gobert, and then on the other side of the court, he just tortures people in the post. And he's basically sat out professional basketball for 3 seasons. And let's not forget, this guy started playing basketball at 15 years old. The NBA is just crazy right now with the skills these 7-footers have. Embiid is 7 feet, 260 pounds, and should not be as light as he is on his feet while being this strong. He can block a shot, then beat defenders up the court for a fast break finish, and he's strong enough to bully you in the post to the point where you have to foul him so it's not too easy for him. He is a bad matchup for any NBA team, but he is especially bad for teams that play an undersized center. I like Julius Randle, but I felt really bad for him when he was having to guard Joel Embiid in that 4th quarter a few weeks ago. Injuries scare me with Embiid, but another thing that scares me is this dude is reckless on the court. Remember when he tried to block Zaza Pachulia's shot on a fast break in that 2nd Warriors game and he crashed into the stanchion? That was scary. And yeah, that's the only thing that really bothers me and probably most people about Embiid long term. I just need to see at least 1 season or 2 seasons of 65 to 70 regular season games to show me that he's healthy and you can trust him to be on the court for most of the time. When you build around him, get some knockdown shooters so teams don't feel comfortable double teaming him on the block. There is a massive risk in picking Embiid as your star player out of these 4 guys, but the outcome will be good if it works out because of his ability to be a game-changing defensive player and score 20 points a night on efficient shooting. Let's go into the next player, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, the second player I have on here. It's wild that 2 guys on this list are on the same team. In Ben's first 20 games, he's averaging 18 points, 7 assists, 9 rebounds on 50% shooting. His passing skills and basketball IQ is like a point guard who's been in the league for over 10 years. And even his defense has been good. Not all NBA defensive level, but for a guy who's only played 20 NBA games, it's good. This stat right here is from NBA.com. Simmons is 8th in the league in shots made from less than 5 feet from the rim. He has made 102 shots on 65% shooting in that range. And another interesting stat, as of today, he leads the NBA in shots made from the 5 to 9 feet range. He has that hook shot that he uses if he doesn't get close enough to the basket. Simmons is really creative with the ball, and he can blow by smaller players or players near his size and finish at the rim. With all of that said about his ability to pass and drive and create mismatches, Ben Simmons has one glaring issue that every NBA fan knows about if you have watched 2 quarters of him play. He cannot shoot outside of 10 feet. As of today, every single one of Ben Simmons' 8 3-point attempts have been end of the quarter heaves. This tweet on the screen is a few days old. this was when he had 7 3-point attempts. He literally has not taken a 3-point shot in a half-court setting. Now, the 0 for 8 at the 3-point line is kind of misleading because if you don't watch him play, let's say you never watched a Simmons game and you saw he was 0 for 8 at the 3-point line, if you just checked his stats, that might tell you that he's actually attempting shots, but the truth is, he is not attempting them at all. He hasn't even had an end of the shot clock, oh man, we got to get this shot off 3-point shot. I can't even remember a possession that I watched him play where it even remotely looked like Simmons was going to take a 3-point shot. And that is a major problem because that game against the Cavs a few days ago showed that good teams can neutralize his ability to get into the paint. In the playoffs, when teams have so much more time to game plan for just one opponent, they're going to key in on that. Here's another interesting stat. Simmons is driving to the basket 19 times per game. He's just behind Atlanta Hawks point guard Dennis Schroeder for first, and he's ahead of James Harden, who is third place in drives per game. Again, this is on NBA.com's player tracking stats. I talked a lot about its flaws in this, but there's a lot of positives. It's hard not to go wrong with a 6'10" point guard that's really unselfish, can play multiple positions, and can finish around the rim. If you're picking Simmons, you must preferably have 2 players on the court with him that can knock down 3-point shots, close to 40%, to keep the defense honest so he can have room to drive, or he can kick it out to them and punish the defense for helping. So exactly like JJ Redick and Robert Covington right now, he's so good at everything else that he doesn't really need a jump shot at the moment. You gotta remember, he's only 21, he's got time to grow, but with how often he has the ball, he's gonna need to get some type of jump shot outside of 10 feet. Let's go into the third player. Third on the list, we have the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, a 6'11" forward that's got a wild combination of defensive versatility and scoring that makes him another great player to build around. This year, he's up to 29 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists after winning Most Improved Player the year before. Giannis is so dominant when he's at the rim. Check this screenshot from NBA.com. Giannis is second in the NBA in shots made less than 5 feet away from the rim. He's made 139 shots in that range. He's 1 spot behind LeBron and 1 ahead of Anthony Davis, who is in third. Giannis is basically a guaranteed bucket when he gets within 5 feet. He's averaging close to 30 points per game without a reliable jump shot. And of course, that is the next step for Giannis in his development. He needs to at least get an average 3-point shot so he can keep the defense honest. That is an issue. There is a chance he never becomes an above average 3-point shooter, and that might be okay. All great players have had flaws in their games. He's gotten better every year over the last 4 seasons, so maybe by the time season 6 and season 7 come around, that jump shot will be respectable. He is really durable. He hasn't had an injury that has made him sit out for some time in a season. He has played in 77 games or more every year since his rookie season. So as of what we know now, if you are a GM, you can trust that you're going to have Giannis on the court for 75 plus games. It's sort of the same thing with Simmons when you are building a team. Giannis is obviously the better shooter, but you need to surround Giannis with at least 2 shooters to keep the defense honest. He's going to turn 23 years old soon, and the Bucks are finally on a little bit of a winning streak. Hopefully that continues. I'm trying to see him in the second round of the playoffs. Let's go into the last player, Kristaps Porzingis. Third on the list, we have Kristaps Porzingis, the unicorn, a 7'3" big man with a combination of offensive and defensive skills that just really should not be possible. He can beat you at the 3-point line, he can knock down a shot in the mid-post, he can defend the basket, and he's pretty fast for his height. And out of everybody on this list, he is the most effective without the ball. And that's what I really like about him as a player. Being able to space the floor is very important in the NBA today, and Kristaps can take the center or power forward defending him out onto the perimeter, and that opens up the court for the 4 other players on his team. If his defender happens to cheat over for a split second, you can get him the ball and he can knock down a catch and shoot jumper. Kristaps really plays like a 7'3" shooting guard. So far through the season, he is second in the league on catch and shoot made shots. Kristaps has 76 made shots on catch and shoot situations. Klay Thompson ranks first with 96. These stats again are from NBA.com's shot tracking stats. And if you are building a team from scratch with Kristaps, you have to have a point guard that is good in the pick and roll. That's why when I saw the Knicks were on Kyrie Irving's list of teams he wanted to get traded to, I got excited because if you pair somebody like Kyrie with Kristaps, you really would see the peak of his offensive potential. In the 4th quarter of a close game, you could just run a bunch of pick and pops every possession and get good looks almost every single time if you force the defense to switch. A point guard like Kyrie could blow by the slower center or dish it off to Kristaps at the 3-point line, who can shoot over anybody at 7'3". Here's another interesting stat. Porzingis has made 48 out of 84 shots from 10 to 14 feet away from the rim. That's 57%. And not only is he the best shooter from that area on this list of 4 players, he has made the most from that 10 to 14 feet range in the NBA. He has money from that part of the court. And so far in his first season without Carmelo Anthony, he's putting up some all-star numbers. He's putting up 25 points a night, bringing down 6 rebounds. And when thinking of building a team with Porzingis, his game should age well into his 30s if he stays healthy, and that's a problem with him because he's been banged up a lot in his first 3 years. Father Time is undefeated. Kristaps' athletic ability will eventually fade when he gets older, but his jump shot is not going to go away. He is always going to have a knockdown jump shot. Put him next to a high-level playmaking point guard and another big man so he can play his preferred position of power forward, and you'll see his full potential as a player. Kristaps has upside on both sides of the court that makes him very easy to build around. Again, I do not think there is anything wrong with picking any of these players to start a team. I changed my mind a few times making this video, and all of this lets me know is that we are in a really good NBA era. As of December 1st, I choose Giannis Antetokounmpo as my building block. I'll take the guy who can play multiple positions, score 30 points a night, and as of now, I know he'll play multiple seasons without any lingering injury issues. I am biased towards players that do not need the ball to be effective and can shoot threes, so I was very close to picking Porzingis. And again, things could change if you made it to the end of the video. I appreciate it because not everyone makes it to the end. Which of these players would you pick to build a franchise around if you were a GM? Tell me which players you would put them around and why you want to pick Porzingis, Giannis, Embiid, or Simmons. Get in the comment box. I will be dropping another story video soon, so that will be interesting. I hope the video was interesting to listen to, and I'll see you guys in my next one.